morning, I'm Melissa Blosser, your Public Information Officer for Douglas County. And today on Inside Douglas County, I have Bobbi Thompson, our Airport Manager, and we're going to be talking about our upcoming Aviation Roundup. Good morning, Bobbi.
Good morning, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great. Nice to have you here. So tell me a little bit about the process, about getting the Thunderbirds. Well, Thunderbirds is one of the main acts. So tell me a little bit about the process of getting them to actually come to the Minden-Tahoe Airport and be a part of this show.
Well, that's a very good question because we get that question a lot. The Thunderbirds, as you and I have talked before, only do 40 cities in the entire world each year. So 40 weekends a year they're performing somewhere. And we're one of those weekends. In fact, there's only 4 sites west of Mississippi this year, and we're the only site in the state of Nevada where they're performing this year. So we're very, very fortunate. Earlier in the year, August prior to your show year, you actually have to fill out some forms that are completed and sent off to the various military branches requesting their attendance and participation in your event. So we did that with the hopes that we would garner something. Well, then when I was at the International Council of Air Shows conference in December, they approached me and they said, "We have an open date if you're interested." I said, "Yes."
You think? That's great. Good. So tell me a little bit about the Aviation Roundup, and there are other acts along with the Thunderbirds. Do you want to explore some of those and tell us a little bit about those?
We do have a really great lineup planned for the community when we hope most of the community can come out and enjoy it. Of course, our featured performer are the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. Mm-hmm. But in addition to that, we have 2 performers that actually come out of Canada. One is called Team Rocket, which is a 2-ship formation, and the aircraft are actually called Harmon Rockets. Now, they're propeller aircraft, that's just the name of the aircraft. And then we have another gentleman that's going to do a fully aerobatic act in a glider, which is particularly interesting, I think, to the folks here that are so into the soaring community. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say he does a fully aerobatic act, he performs for 15 minutes after just a standard tow like any of our gliders would get. And part of that performance includes an inverted ribbon cut, where he's actually coming down the runway at about 50 feet. People on either side of the runway are holding poles with a ribbon across, so he's upside down, and he cuts that aircraft as he passes.
Wow.
That'll definitely get your attention.
That's great.
We also have a young man that lives in Dayton, Nevada, and he is a paraplegic. He was actually injured in a glider accident and became a paraplegic, but his love of aviation continued, and he does a fully aerobatic act in a hang glider, which is quite interesting to see. Then we have a Twin Beach. Now, the Twin Beach is an aircraft that's about 50 years old, twin engine, and that again is a stock aircraft, but he does a full aerobatic act in that stock aircraft. It's quite something to see, and it's kind of big and loud and right there where the crowd can see it, so it's very good. Now, these civilian performers are 500 feet from our crowd line. That's the safety margin that we have, but when you're watching it, it seems very close. We also will have a special comedy act that I don't want to let too much out on. I want to surprise folks with it, but I think they'll get a real charge out of that one. So I think the Roundup is going to have just a great number of performers. We have quite a variety of vendors that are going to be on field. Of course, you'll be able to get something to eat and something to drink, but then there's people that sell all kind of air show stuff, from pins, that you can put on a hat or a shirt, to model airplanes for kids. Of course, we'll have a kids zone. Then there's just a number of different activities and things to look at. The Leadership Douglas group is doing a presentation where they're going to have a tent that's directed towards the benefit of veterans. So veterans can go in there and find out what things are available to them, both from health care to finances, whatever they might need that are programs that are available to them. Of course, the Thunderbirds will have their tent for their friends and family they've invited. And then we will have the VIP tent, which will be invited guests from the county commissioners, as well as our sponsors, so that they can interact, and of course performers will be in and out of there. Our performers will also be doing a autograph tent. So the gates will open at 10, so you'll have all the time to spend, a couple hours to spend looking at the vendors and checking to see what they have, buying out items you just can't live without. And then at noon, we'll start our opening ceremonies. And the opening ceremonies will consist of a flag jump, where our jumpers will bring in a large American flag. We'll have our color guard. We'll have a live singing of the anthem from the director for the Visitors Authority, who happens to be a major music graduate. And then we will have some presentation by elected officials. And then we will start our show. We'll have 6 civilian performances. And then roughly around 3 o'clock, the noise will be overhead. We will see those Thunderbirds performing overhead, and it will definitely be exciting. And that they fly for a little over an hour, and then after that, you'll have time to casually get back to your vehicle and head home with some great memories.
Great. Sounds like you can just make a whole day, bring out the whole family. It's just going to be a, amazing, really amazing event to see and bring the entire family and all kinds of things to do. So that's great.
Well, we really designed it around that whole family concept, which is one of the reasons we really kept the price. Our prices are less than half of what tickets are for an event normally of this size. So in advance, the tickets are $10, which you can buy at the airport. You can buy them at the Visitors Authority, or you can go online at aviationroundup.com and purchase them. At the gate, they do go up to $15. And if you have a large family, we wanted to make sure they had a chance to go. And of course, with large families, sometimes the finances are tougher.
Sure.
So we have a family pack. So before the event, you can spend $30. Mom and dad and however many kids they have can come on in.
Great. That's amazing. So I think you've answered some of these other questions I had here, but so what will the Thunderbirds and the Aviation Roundup bring to the Carson Valley besides just the air show? You've given me a lot of detail about that, but what will the show bring to, just the Carson Valley as a whole? Bring in business, tourism. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Certainly. Of course, with a variety of vendors, we have many that are from out of the area. We plan on putting a lot of heads in beds. Mm-hmm. So we'll have a lot of folks that are coming to spend the entire week in our community. So you have the hotel rooms, you have the retail sales, you have the restaurant sales, and perhaps even more importantly than that, this has already gotten us national attention.
Right.
People are talking about this at air shows across the country. Mm-hmm. Where's this Minden place that the Thunderbirds are going to? So it's gotten us on the map for that, and probably unknown to a lot of our citizens, we have a very large aerospace contingent within the valley. A lot of companies have put their businesses here, and this brings more aerospace attention to the area as well. Wherever the Thunderbirds go, there's a great following.
Right.
And we hope that we can continue this into the future with a major event like this about every other year.
Great. That's great news for everybody here in the valley, so that's awesome. The staff at the Minden-Tahoe Airport, Douglas County, the Sheriff, East Fork, just to name a few, have all been working together to make sure this event runs smoothly. There's been a lot of planning going on. I know you and I have both been involved in a lot of that. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you, because you've done a great job with the media component of this, as you're so skilled at doing. But it does. It's sort of like when you're inviting a company over, you better get the house ready. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this takes really a year of planning, and we've had about 8 months of planning, but we're doing okay. Great groups. We've had our safety and security meetings with both the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, Nevada Highway Patrol, and because we will have military assets on the field, the FBI is involved as well, and they will have a presence on the field. Of course, just planning on the parking takes time, mm-hmm. So we have to have a firm develop a parking plan and a traffic plan so that everyone can get in as easily as possible, given the high number of traffic, can get parked and get on the shuttle bus into the air show without a lot of hassle. And we think we've accomplished that. Just a fun fact is we have over 7,000 cones that we're going to put out. That's a lot of cones.
That's no joke.
There's a lot of cones.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll have those out, a lot of signs, of course, to direct people so that they come in. And then we have 3 bus stops where they can get on their shuttle bus. That will take them right to the gate, so they won't have to do a lot of walking. Of course, when we're expecting somewhere between 10 and 15,000 people a day is our best guess, and it is a guess. So we have to have, of course, security on the airport. Mm-hmm. We have a Red Cross that'll be on the airport in case someone falls or gets too much sun. We are encouraging everyone to bring a nice chair and some, small shade covering for themselves, because it is you're right outside, naturally. It's hard to look up and see airplanes if you're inside.
Yeah.
And be prepared for the heat. Yeah. Now, we're asking that unless you have a service animal, not to bring pets. and to also no coolers. A reason for that is it's really not good for pets. Obviously, the jets make noise, and there's just a lot of activity and a lot of people. And then with the heat, that can really aggravate animals. It's unfair to them. And the no cooler reason for that is, sadly, when people bring coolers, they tend to leave a lot of trash. And we don't need trash getting inside aircraft engines.
Right.
So we want to control that as best we can. And of course, always on the airport, no smoking.
Right.
So those are very important things to remember. And then with also the Douglas County Sheriff will be helping up with traffic control, as will the Highway Patrol out on 395. So we'll have that. We will have a great military contingent assisting us with the show, assisting us with the standby fire equipment, and also bringing in, we've got a C-130 coming in, and several military helicopters coming in. So it's going to be fun things to watch. Of course, marketing and media, which you've been very involved with, it's important to get that word out and get that information out there. And then we just simple volunteers.
Right.
Well, it takes a lot of volunteers, from first thing at parking to the gates, well, the people that manage the gates for cash, credit cards, and prepaids and all those things. And then once you get on the field, we're working with China Springs Youth to help us keep the field clean during the day. So it really involves the whole community.
Yeah, a lot of people involved in this.
A lot of
event.
people.
A lot of people.
About
Wow.
200 volunteers.
Yeah, amazing. So a lot going into this. A lot of logistics. You're
Right.
kind of busy, right, Bobbi?
We're a little busy.
Good. Okay, so what are you most excited about this show? I mean, obviously the Thunderbirds are coming, so that makes it different. But what else makes this show a little bit different? Or is there something you want to accentuate on or talk about that makes this really different? And why do people want to come and watch this other than what you just talked about?
Well, one thing that I really enjoy is our community has a great number of veterans in it, about 18%.
Yeah.
And we are all so thankful for what they do for us on a daily basis. So anytime we can highlight that, I think that's a great event. And on Sunday, we will have what's called a recognition ceremony. And the Thunderbirds will do this for 5 individuals. We have a World War II vet that actually has his 96th birthday that day.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
We have a Korean veteran that'll be there and recognized. We have a Vietnam vet who's actually a Bronze Star winner, and also a former county commissioner. There's a hint, folks. We have a gentleman from Bosnia that was actually injured in Bosnia, but is doing very well now, and some of you may recognize him. No more hints there. And then also, we're very happy that, tying back to our commissioners again, our Afghanistan veteran happens to be the son of our Commissioner, Nancy McDermott.
That's right.
So we're going to have a great group that we're going to recognize, but really it's a recognition of all the veterans in our community and everywhere, to really thank them for the great thing that they do to maintain our freedom and safety.
Great. Wow, sounds like it's just really going to be a great show, great time. So excited about this. Is there anything that you want to touch on that I didn't cover, you want to talk about that we didn't go over?
Well, I encourage people to save money and buy the tickets early.
Yes.
We'll start our actual advertising. We'll begin June 10th with our print advertising, and then that'll be followed up with radio and television. Of course, we'll be doing things like this today, going out and speaking to groups and talking to folks, looking for sponsorship. When you put something on of this magnitude, there are definitely costs. We don't expect to make money, we just want to pay our expenses. So we have a great number of sponsorships that are really helping us. It's interesting when you get into the field layout, there's a great number of details you have to work out. First of all, from the FAA, they tell you how to do your show box. Now, the show box for what they call slow goers, our civilian performers, is 6,000 feet long. And as I indicated, it starts 500 feet away from the crowd. For the military jets, it's 12,000 feet long. So it's all very detailed, and there's specific markings on the ground. And one of those is a line. Now imagine this. You're in an F-16, you're coming into the field at 600 miles an hour, and you want to hit a specific point. Well, when you're moving that fast, looking for some small thing doesn't work. So we're actually using gypsum to do a 5,000-foot strip on the east side of the airport that's 40 foot wide. And that's what they fly over. So as soon as they get close to the airport, they can see that line and they know right where they're going.
Okay.
Now that's their aerobatic line. when they're doing non-aerobatic passes, which means their wings aren't going more than 60 degrees, they're back at that 500-foot line. So some of those passes, inverted, will not be there, but some of the passes where the two jets pass will be right there in front of the crowd. We will also have a professional announcer. He'll not only announce the acts and talk about it, and he's very, very knowledgeable. He's won many, many awards. But he'll also thank our sponsors. So if you want to be a sponsor, you can get that extra attention there, get that extra recognition. And then we have a professional air boss. He's the air traffic controller for the show, because this is a very, very choreographed, detailed event.
Right.
We'll have a full practice show before we have spectators. And that's where, after the Thunderbirds fly, they'll meet with the special needs children. And we're doing autistic children, as well as Make-A-Wish kids. And that's a
Great.
special event.
Great. Both of us. Yeah.
That's a special event.
Absolutely.
But then, that's our dress rehearsal to make sure that we haven't missed anything, we've got everything correct. Of course, there's stacks of paperwork.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Yes.
If God would have wanted man to fly, he'd have given us more paperwork. So we have lots of paperwork we have to do. We have pilot briefings every morning, which includes a weather briefing, but the air boss will conduct those, and he will go over each person's show, the time that they're going to fly that day, make sure that that person's feeling good that day, healthy, that they're focused, and then those all head out to the airport. The performers will get in what's called a sterile area, where they can really concentrate on what their needs are for that day. You'll often see them standing on the ramp and walking through the maneuver. It looks like kind of funny because they're twirling around and they're doing funny things, but they're actually walking through their maneuver before they fly.
Yeah.
And after they fly, they'll be in the autograph tent, so anybody can go up and get an autograph. They sign shirts, sign hats, books, whatever they want them to sign. And then be able to do that with the Thunderbirds fly. There will also be an autograph line for the Thunderbirds, so people can get a Thunderbird performance. And we're very happy to say that our sponsors, as well as our performers, will all be at a performer party at CVI on Friday night of the air show week. So if you are a sponsor, you can get in there and mingle. And there'll be some presentations to the county where the Thunderbirds thank the county for allowing them to come, and we'll thank them for being here.
Right.
And we'll recognize our other performers as well at that event.
Great. So if somebody wanted to actually be a sponsor, is interested in doing that, who would they contact, or how would they go about doing that?
They just need to call the airport, contact the airport, and ask for Bobbi Thompson, me, and we can walk them through, and we have sponsorship levels starting as low as $500.
Great. Okay. Very good. Is there anything else?
Well,
we're excited.
We want it, we want this to be sort of our primer for going forward. Now, obviously, this is a full-up national level show, but we want to do this at this level every year and build on it every year, because it does get tremendous marketing advantage for businesses, for people wanting to relocate here. Obviously, it's a great community event. It's a great family event. But it does have long-reaching tentacles that are all good and positive. And it gets us that national attention that otherwise we might not be able to achieve.
Right.
So we think it's a very good event, and we really want families to come and have a great family day. Bring the sunscreen,
Right.
bring a little shade, bring a comfortable chair, and some walking shoes, because you're going to want to walk around.
Right. And we do have the website where people can find information, social media page, Aviation Roundup. So you can follow that. We've been posting some of the information about the acts, and people can kind of follow that, as well as the Douglas County page. So get a little information about what's to come. You can actually visually see it. So that's great for the public to know.
And I think I forgot to mention one of our performers, Bill Stein, who's performed in and around this area a little bit. One thing that he does that I find particularly interesting is he does this maneuver where his tail goes over his nose, goes over his tail, goes over his nose. It's something to see.
Yes, yes. All the videos I've watched, I'm amazed. So really excited, really great. So, well, thank you so much for being here, and we really appreciate it. We're all very excited about this event, and just happy to have you. And thank you for all the hard work that you've done. I know you guys and your staff has been a tremendous amount of work.
Great
and
team.
Yes, your team is amazing. So I want to thank you very much. I'm Melissa Blosser signing off with Inside Douglas County. Thank you very much.
Aviation Roundup, August 22nd and 23rd. See you there.